metaverse, right? With recent news on a metaverse for HR. So imagine you working in not in the office, but in the beach, right? And yeah, and collaborating in that space. Wow, superb. Thank you for sharing, Alvin. And how about yourself, Alex? Yeah.
Happy to share. Maybe first to chime in to agree with Alvin, right? Like it's I think the age of talking about work-life balance is gone. I think it is purely about life. So how work fits in there, whether you are able to take a walk around the track that's in the office, or actually your office is like where I am right now, which actually happens to be on the beach. I don't know if you can hear the splashing waves. Actually, not really. I'm from my home office at the moment, but you get the idea. Now, being a consultant, I'm going to give you the obvious quip, which is it depends, right? Are we in a position where we can have our workers who are engaged in physical activity, so think of factories, work remotely? No, not until at least we have robots that have automated all the different processes. For knowledge workers, though, it's a consideration, and it's a consideration I think that should not primarily be driven by employers, but rather by employee selection and employee preference. And this is what we have seen in data as well. So just to be very clear, Singapore is a wonderful place. There are a lot of people here. Can be quite compact. There's lots of construction, and maybe actually you would prefer to go into the office. Maybe you do prefer that camaraderie. In fact, also being consultants, we do a lot of studies. We reach out to our clients, and obviously this is a topic that's on mind for everybody. We recently did a pulse survey with about 2,000 companies participating globally. So that's a really sizable data set. And not surprisingly, 93% of those organizations, this is from our recent AON pulse survey, are considering or have already implemented flexible working practices. So they're here to stay, right? There's no argument. In fact, I would say this is not future, this is now. So what it will look like in the future is a slightly different discussion point. But the key here again, I have the luxury of being, as I said, on a beach. Nobody's around me, kidding a little bit, but there's that flexibility. There are those who are stuck in a very finite space with construction, with relatives, with all the things that are going on, and you can't quite concentrate. You're not as productive and effective. Are we going to give them an option to do so? Again, employee driven. What I think from a organizational perspective is important to keep in mind is creating that sense of belonging. So how do we come to a place where employees, especially who have started in the last 2 years, don't just go up in a hockey stick of attrition? What are the motivating factors we get to pull them in? And that's something I think we need to, more than designing what the specifics of the workplace look like, because again, the reality is this hybrid is here to stay. There's no doubt about it. And we've seen even the most one-sided organizations. So for example, Jamie Dimon recently went back on the statement of requiring all employees to physically be based in the office. Even if the organizations of that type do so, we need to be mindful of how we make it in the most effective manner. So just a couple thoughts.